Caitlin and welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be doing something that I've been putting off for a very long time, and that is reorganizing my bookshelves. Now, when I say that I've been putting this off for a while, I mean that I said I was going to reorganize my bookshelves when I did my room tour video, and that was well over a year ago. Like, well over a year ago. And while I have made some changes to my bookshelves, I have a couple of like shelves that I really like. For example, this shelf right here, Holly Jackson, is definitely one of my like favorite authors, so it feels right that she has her own shelf. So some of the shelves are what I want them to be. However, most of them are not. And that was mainly because I just couldn't find a style or organizing style or just look that I really liked for my bookshelves. So I didn't feel the need to like move them around as much or reorganize until I like had a concrete idea. However, that has changed. And in the last couple of months, I have found an idea that I really like. And I feel like it might make some people upset, and that's okay, because I'm doing it because I'll like it and I think it'll look pretty. Before I get the idea, I'll go ahead and like kind of explain the bookshelf situation. So I have this corner bookshelf that I got from IKEA a couple years ago. It has 6 total shelves going all the way up here. And it does have quite a lot of space. It also like goes pretty far back, which is nice. And I also recently got some bookshelves that are like wall mounted that I am kind of hoping to display some more like specific books or like special editions or ones that I like absolutely love. And of course some decorations. Like, I don't think the shelves on my wall are going to be just books. I think it's going to be a mix of some things. I also do want to say that the end of this video isn't necessarily going to be like the end product of my shelves, if that makes sense, because the vision that I have does not necessarily match the amount of books that I have. Even though I do have a lot of books, I really do. Some would consider it a problem. I think it's great, personally. But it's definitely not going to look exactly like how I envision it at the end of this video, but I think that starting it at least will kind of set me in the right direction and will kind of get me more motivated to read or to buy more books, because I obviously need more motivation to buy more books, duh. But anyway, I've done a lot of talking about what I want to do with these shelves and not actually explaining it. And like I said, I'm kind of scared that people will hate this concept, so I think that's part of the reason I'm not being super immediate to say it. But I'll go ahead. Like I said, these shelves have like 6 individual shelves on them. And I am thinking that I want to organize my shelves in rainbow color order. I feel like I very, very rarely see people do that. So I feel like it might ruffle some feathers a little bit, but there's just something about a gradient that like makes my mind like so happy when I see it. So I want to try it out. I think it'll be really fun. And like I said, I do have a lot of books, but I definitely don't have enough like specific colors for all 6 shelves to be like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So I'm kind of mixing it up in a fun way. I think pink, first of all, is going to get its own shelf because I already have like an entire shelf of them. And I'm probably going to put together red and orange are going to be together. And then I'm also going to put yellow and green together. And for now, I might put blue and purple together, even though I feel like that one will be like the easiest to get a lot of either color, or especially blue, because I feel like I have a lot of blue books. And then I am wanting to do like my black and white books on the bottom two shelves, I think. But the goal is that once I get a lot of books of all of those like main colors, then I can move the black and white shelves to like other shelves maybe over here. I don't know exactly what I'm doing with these bottom few shelves. I do know, however, that this shelf directly behind me is not going to stay as it is because, as you can see, I have a bunch of Dork Diaries books and a bunch of Thea Stilton books, which if you don't know what those are, we had two very different childhoods. But they're obviously more like children's slash, no, they're definitely children's books. I was gonna call them young adult. They're definitely children's books. But I kind of want them to have like their own bookshelves because like it's mainly for nostalgia for me, those books. And I do think that at some point I will want to go back through them and read them for nostalgia's sake. But I don't have all of them, and I probably won't for a very long time. But the kicker is the place that I want to move these books is actually where I currently keep my DVDs. So I would need to find a new home for my DVDs before I move these to their new home. So it's this like whole thing of me needing to get more compartments, if you will, just to store stuff. And I haven't quite gotten there yet. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But like I said earlier, I am hoping today that I can kind of take some steps in the right direction. Now, you may have noticed when I was pointing to these shelves that they actually have like layers to them because these are like a little higher up in the back than the ones up front. And that is because of this Pinterest post that I saw a couple of years ago, or I guess when I started organizing these shelves. If you have like deeper shelves where you can basically put like one book at the back and one book at the front, if you take egg cartons and put them at the bottom, you can use them as shelves to like elevate that back set of books so you can still see them, and then it like doubles your storage space. So I'm not even joking. I have been collecting egg cartons because I'm pretty sure I want to use this method with most, if not all, of these shelves. Well, not necessarily all of these shelves, because there definitely are shelves that I don't want to do that for, but I have collected so many egg cartons. They're all right here. And these are egg cartons that I've been given by like friends and family as well. But I have plenty, and realistically, I probably won't need any more. And if I do need any more, I'm gonna be genuinely pretty shocked, not gonna lie. But I think the plan for today is to cut up some more of these because I don't know if you could actually tell when I took a closer look at this shelf, but it's actually one egg carton and then like a third of another egg carton. So I end up having to cut a couple of them to have a full shelf that supports all the books. And gonna be honest, it can generally take a couple of tries for me to get it just right so that it's wedged in there and still supporting the books and like not too flimsy or whatever. So it takes some time, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm also hoping today that I can take a look at these shelves and then take some books from them and organize my wall-mounted shelves like I was talking about earlier. I do already have some ideas for what I want to do, so let's go take a look at that. So, as you can probably tell, these are the wall-mounted shelves, and they're pretty good. I really like them. I do currently have one book displayed up here and a Snoopy Funko Pop just for fun, so it's not completely empty. My only complaint about these shelves is that they are admittedly not the best quality. I think they're plastic, if I'm being honest. Like, they are not super sturdy, so I've been instructed by my dad, who helped me put these up, to not put anything too heavy on like just one shelf, which does kind of mess up my like concept a little bit, unfortunately, but I think I can still make it work. So the book that is up here is A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. It's the hard copy. I also have a paperback copy, which will probably be displayed somewhere on this shelf over here. But I wanted to display this one because I read it recently and loved it. Like, loved it. Plus, I got this book signed by an author who's actually a local author, which is so cool. So I thought it would be fun to display her book and support her kind of in that way. Her second book in this series, I actually don't know if it's going to be a series or if it's just a duology, but I digress. The next book actually comes out in like the middle of this year / the end of this year, which is really exciting, and I am hoping that I love it. I'm sure I will. I'm rambling a little bit, so I am now going to get some of the other books that I was kind of wanting to display. But this is where it gets a little more complicated. So if you know me, you might know that I am obsessed with the Icebreaker series, or it's actually called the Maple Hills series, but most people know the first book, Icebreaker, because it was really popular on TikTok for a while because of like the heavy smut and such. But I just really love this series. I think it's actually really great, even though a lot of people on TikTok do not share that opinion. And I think it's so great that I actually have 2 different sets of special editions. I have these beautiful paperbacks where it's like illustrated covers of like different houses that are important to all of these characters' stories. And I actually bought these secondhand, which meant they are a lot more expensive than they originally were. And that's how much I love this series, truthfully. But I also have these special editions, which are hardcovers and have sprayed edges and much less assuming covers. Now you might notice I only have 2 of these because I don't have the last one. It actually came out at the end of last year, and I was going to get it when it came out, but something happened. Either it like didn't fit into my budget at the time, or I just forgot about it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So maybe I will as a part of this video, perhaps. So my original thought for displaying these special editions was that I would have them on the same shelf, because it is the same series. They're just like slightly different covers, and like these have sprayed edges. So I was wanting to in some way display the sprayed edges. However, and you probably didn't hear it, but when I set these books down to let them like stand on their own, the shelf made a sound, which is scary, of course, because that means that the shelf could fall or break and I wouldn't be able to use it anymore. But it's mainly scary because I don't want my books, especially if they're special editions, to fall off and possibly be damaged, especially if I'm not here to immediately pick them up, or if they fall and like directly hit the wood of my chair. Like, that's gonna be horrible. So I'm a little hesitant to actually give them their own shelf, especially when I'm going to be adding even more weight plus 1 more hardback. It's just a little bit scary, but I really want to display them like and give them their own shelf because I think it would be so cute. Like, it would just be so cute. And then I would obviously put the last special edition on this end, and then I was thinking that I could display these paperbacks standing up. Again, that was horrifying. It just wiggled a little bit. But this is what I want because it looks cute. I feel like I'll only be able to really test this once I get that final hard copy special edition, because if those 3 can stand on their own on this shelf and be okay, then I think I'll be okay. But if it makes some weird noises or I can like see cracks starting to show, then I'm gonna have to come up with a different solution. However, I'm going to test my anxiety and let these sit here, see if it helps the shelf like adjust. If it makes more noises, then obviously I'm gonna move them. But I really hope this works out because like, oh, shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. Now, as far as my other books over here onto these shelves, I don't really know what I want to do. I originally had an idea that I was going to take my stack of hard copy Hunger Games books and put them on this smaller shelf at the bottom and have them like stacked on top of each other. I thought that would be cute, but when I went to do it, obviously them being hardbacks and the noises it was making were scary, so I did not leave them there. Maybe I could put my paperback editions. I also do really want to get the special editions of these books, like the ones with the sprayed edges and it look like it has leaves on them. They're very colorful. I think you know what I mean. And if you don't, just look it up. It's probably one of the first results, or maybe I'll put it on the screen. And it's also a little hard to try out these shelves when the big chair is here and it's kind of hard to work around. Would it be easier if I just moved it? Probably. Am I gonna do that? Also probably not. Sorry, one of my books just fell on my shelf and I thought it was the actual shelf cracking or something, so that scared me, to say the least. I do like that. I do. I will say my only beef with these shelves is that they are not very long. Like, my hard copies are obviously sticking out because they're kind of bigger than most paperbacks. I say kind of bigger. They're significantly bigger than most paperbacks, but even some of the paperbacks are sticking out like a good 2 inches, if not more. Am I gonna do anything about it? No. Am I gonna continue to display stuff on these shelves? Yeah. And then that would leave my hardback copies of the Hunger Games over here, which if I want to complete the sets, I would need to get a paperback version of Sunrise on the Reaping and then a hardback copy of Songbirds and Snakes. But then what would I turn this shelf into? Because I also have my series of mostly thrifted The Maze Runner over here, just because it's also dystopian and I didn't really have a place on the bookshelf otherwise for these books. Not one where they really fit in anyways, so I did just stick them back here. So this could become my dystopian shelf. But I also don't really read that many dystopian books in the first place. I don't know, I could probably make it work. I will say most of the shelves on the upper half of these shelves are ones that I'm not necessarily wanting to change. And you can't see them very well because I'm standing in front of most of them and you're obviously very far away because I'm supposed to be focusing on these shelves. I also don't know. I feel like some of these things could be transferred over here and look cute. Like I said, I don't want just books on these shelves because I do have so many other things that I could display that I really enjoy. For example, I got this new Lego flower set, I think for Christmas. It's this beautiful chrysanthemum and it actually comes like in its own buildable vase, if you will. So I don't actually have to buy a vase, which is nice, but it's also a light, which is so cool and so pretty and I'm obsessed with it. And I think that it would look really cute on these shelves. Do I know where exactly I want to display it? Not really. But that's kind of how trying stuff out works. That could be cute, right? That could be cute. And then I could like put something in front of the little box where the batteries are. Yeah, that could be fun. This is the hard part, actually like putting together the vision. It's a little difficult. Okay, well I don't have to come up with the perfect idea right now in this moment. So I'm just gonna leave that up there and kind of let myself think about it for a bit, I think. And I'm probably gonna spend the next couple of hours cutting up some egg cartons. However, I do work today, so I probably won't do much else actual work on organizing my shelves over here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting these up off camera, and hopefully tomorrow I will have enough to get started on reorganizing to my vision. All right, so it is now the next day and I am going to start actually moving around all these books so that they are spread out through all of these shelves. I did end up cutting, I want to say like 4 sets of the egg carton like layering situations that I had going on, and I still have extra, like plenty extra. Just in case I need them for other shelves, obviously. I also originally had a specific shelf for hockey romances because if you know me, you know that that is one of my like favorite sports genres. Or sports romance genres, that is. And I have quite a few of them here. These are all the ones that I've read, and then I also have a few that I haven't read yet that I actually put over on my book cart because that's where I keep most of my unread books. Now, is it where I keep all of my unread books? No. For example, I haven't read this book, The Weaver Bride, or Fall at Once. So now, the first thing I need to do is just take all of these books off the shelves. I'm also kind of unclear what exactly I'm gonna do with like tan books. I'm probably gonna keep them with the white ones for now, and then it'll be like a slow gradient to like brown maybe. And then if there's any grays, I'll keep them with the black books. Also, as you could probably notice, as I am giving you more of a look at this shelf, I do also try to keep the colors like in a bit of a gradient. So it goes from like darkest to lightest pinks, at least on this shelf, and then like other shelves with other colors, obviously. So this is all the books currently on the pink shelf, and I might be adding more soon. I actually don't know for sure. But now let's move on to all the other colors in the rainbow. I'll adjust it so you can see it a little better. So first we have the greens into blues into purples. We have a lot of blue, actually, which is nice. Not a whole lot of purple. And honestly, I don't know what color this one would necessarily be, Water Moon, because it has like purple hues to it, but it's also giving like just really dark blue. And then we have some reds, oranges, and like 1 yellow. I really need to work on getting more yellow books. I need to, like, I'm trying to give myself excuses to buy more books. My other thing that I was kind of contemplating with this design for my bookshelves, if you will, is that unfortunately I will kind of be dividing up a lot of series, which is unfortunate because, you know, there are some series that I really like or that just have very similar covers and like flow really well together when they're all sat together. But I love the concept of having like a rainbow gradient for my bookshelves. So that's what I'm gonna go for. And you know what? At the end of the day, if I end up not liking it, I can just change it. Like, it's that simple. Okay, now I'm also going to take a moment to reorganize these hockey romances with their respective colors, I think. I actually might have to do that as I'm like going per shelf because this could end really badly really quickly. But since we're already down here, I think I am going to go ahead and start with the white and black shelves at the bottom. These will not be very full. I want to make that very clear. These shelves will not be very full, like at all. Some of the books that I would be putting there are over here. I also am a little perplexed on if I want to like keep my hardbacks separate from paperbacks. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Wait, did the second book of this series come out? Like recently? I might have to go to Barnes & Noble today. We're just putting that out there now. Okay, and here's another perplexing thing, is that literally this entire series of The Cruel Prince, and then also, oh, what is this series called? Also, this series isn't called The Cruel Prince. You know what I mean. Holly Black's books are almost all white covers except for The Wicked King, but like I didn't make the book covers. It's not that serious. But these all, I think, except for The Wicked King, will be hanging out here, at least for the time being. And even though I'm a little unsure whether or not I want to store hardbacks with the paperbacks that I have, I'm just going to keep this over here for now. Oh my god, I almost forgot the literal one that was over here. Hello. And then the two tan-ish books that I have. And I literally only have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo as like a black spined book. So yeah, Evelyn is hanging out by herself on the bottom shelf, which is a little unfortunate because I love her so much and she deserves better than being alone, but that's okay. Okay, so now we're just gonna move up every shelf, I think. This is also gonna be a little chaotic for me, like in the moment, because I am not entirely sure where I want all of the things that I'm taking off the shelves. I have a couple of concepts, a couple of ideas, maybe. Yeah, most of these are just gonna live on the floor for a little bit. Okay, so this one is purple, blue, so much pink, but I haven't actually read this series yet, so I think I'm going to just set it to the side. Okay, so now for this shelf, for the time being, it is going to be blue and purple, which is actually probably going to be the most full shelf as of right now. Oh my god. That is so much. Okay, why is there a hair just hanging out in my shelf? That was strange. Anyway, I have so many blue books and I didn't even realize it until right now. This is a little difficult because I also originally had these like next to the green books. So they kind of faded in that way. Like we start with the bluish greens on this side and then fade to the darkest blues. Is that gonna be enough? Okay, now I'm gonna take these ones, move them up on the shelf. Perfect, okay. And now our purple books. Gradient-wise, that looks good. Oh yeah, that looks really good gradient-wise. Hello. Yeah, that's better. That's so pretty. Like, isn't this so fun? This is gonna look so cool when it's like all filled out with like a bunch of books of each color. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. Okay, next shelf. So the next one is greens and yellows. And again, I only have the one yellow book. I also need to remove this, but that'll just be hanging out there for the time being. And then we have all of these fun little green books. And then this is kind of what I was talking about with the bluish green fading into the green and the blue. But I think that this one does have more of a green undertone than it does a blue, so I'm going to keep it up here. Okay, you know what? The more I look at it, again, I'm like going insane. I think that this might be more blue than green. I don't know. I feel like I'm going colorblind trying to do this. I'm just gonna keep it with the greens for now though. Okay. And then the stuff on this next shelf can just come down one. And then we're going up again. So this next shelf is the reds and oranges, which I do have quite a few of. So I'll probably split them up between their little shelf tiers. Maybe not. Yeah, I fear that actually works perfectly. So we're gonna rock with this for now. Okay, yeah, that works perfectly. And then the last shelf at the very top, which is gonna be really hard to see, admittedly, is going to be pink books. And see, this falls under the category of a pink book, but it's also a special edition. Like, should this not get its own little section? This is a big stack, so I'm gonna probably take a couple trips. You should know that I almost dropped this entire stack of books on my face just a second ago. Okay, that was fun. And now I have everything organized in the way that I'm hoping. I think depending on the shelf, I might also like leave a little space to display something. Like for example, on this shelf, I have these cute little Lego succulents that I think are adorable and fit really well in with the books and such. So maybe I can like leave a shelf that I don't have a lot of that specific color and just have a bit of space for some stuff like this. I think that would be cute and fun. So now I am contemplating if I want to go to Barnes & Noble now for a couple of reasons. Originally, I wanted to go to Barnes & Noble to get my last hard copy special edition of the Maple Hills series that I was talking about yesterday. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think the second book for The Rose Queen, wait, no, is that what it's called? The Rose Bargain, my bad, is out now. And the one that I have is a Barnes & Noble exclusive. So realistically, I should probably also get the Barnes & Noble exclusive for the second one in the duology, because hopefully those like match a little bit. So I know that I'm definitely going over for at least the special edition, but now I might be. So I'm definitely going over at least for the special edition of Daydream, but now I might have to take a look around and see if I'm right and that second book is out. They actually should be open now, so I could go over right now. I think I'm gonna do that. Let's go. Okay, so after some serious like hunting, scavenging, if you will, I finally found the special edition of Daydream. She's so beautiful. I'm so excited and happy to be getting this and finally completing that collection. And I am looking around currently for the special edition of the second book in the Rose Bargain duology, but I am really struggling to find it. So I might have to ask someone for help, which shouldn't be embarrassing, but it sometimes is. I think I'm gonna look a little harder one more time and then maybe ask someone for help. So I actually did not end up asking for help from an employee. I couldn't find it when I went to look again. I actually found the author this time, so I found like the first book, but the second book wasn't with it for some reason. I don't know if it was displayed somewhere else or if they just didn't have it on the floor, but I kind of took that as my sign to just not get it, because if I'm being honest with myself, this purchase of this special edition of Daydream has already set me over my budget for the week. So I just decided that I wouldn't bother any of the employees today and that I would take it as my sign to just get it another week, get it at another time. And so that's the plan. And now I am heading home so I can put the final special edition up. All right, so I am now home and getting ready to put up the final book on this shelf. I am still stressed about the sheer amount of weight that is going to be on this shelf when it's really probably not all that sturdy. And it's been 24 hours-ish, actually more than 24 hours since I have put these up and let them stay here. So pretty good so far, but I'm still a little nervous. So I think I'm going to just, in order to put this new one up, take down the paperbacks. Because if anything happens to these paperbacks, it's like actually over. I am so deeply obsessed with these. They're so cute. They're so precious. The moment of truth. Okay. I think it's fine. I think. I just inched it a little closer to like the middle, so it's not super close to the edge and putting a lot of weight on just the one side. Admittedly, this makes me nervous, but I'm gonna rock with it for now. And then putting these beautiful special edition copies back up as well. I think it's working. I think this will work. It's so cute! Oh my god, I love it! This is exactly what I wanted for these shelves, to just be able to like display all the pretty books and like cute little figurines and stuff. I think this is going to turn out really cute once I am able to figure out what exactly I'm putting on all the other shelves. And also, it's the way that I, at the beginning of this video, said that I don't want just books to be up here, but it is going to be like 90% books on these shelves. Like, if I'm being honest with myself, it's going to be mostly books. But I mean, I've organized everything else in the way that I want it to eventually look. And honestly, even right now, it looks really good. And it's like not even remotely as full as I would want it to be. But like, look at that and tell me that it doesn't already look amazing. Like that is so, oh my gosh, I literally love it. I love it. And just to think, there are so many books in my book cart that I haven't read yet and on my floor that will be added to this, and that will help fill it out, and it'll look so pretty and nice. It'll be so cool. I do want to also go back through all of these shelves that I have going on and determine which ones I'm keeping. I do think that most of the ones like this part up, I'm gonna keep the same, but the bottom few definitely are subject to change. I'm just so happy with how this turned out. It's so great. I'm so excited. And like, look at how fun it is to look at the shelves above me when I'm sitting in this chair. Like that, it's so, this is exactly what I wanted. This is literally exactly what I wanted, and I'm so glad that it turned out so perfectly. I guess the only thing that I can do now is to continue to read as many books as I can and add to my bookshelf gradient, and then obviously some of the shelves up here. This just like completely boosted my mood. Like, you don't even get it. Like, I am so happy about this and so excited that it's finally coming into fruition. Oh my gosh. Okay. That being said, I think this is all that I'm going to do for this video, so I think it's time to wrap it up. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!